to our 6th episode. We took a little bit of a hiatus. You know, life is lifing, life happens.
Life was certainly lifing, that's for sure.
So I just have a quick question for you, JJ. Kind of like, I mean, we're good friends. We've known each other for several years.
I've known you for like 7 years.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's actually been like 9.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
has it?
I think it's like 7.
7 in December.
I was thinking like next year, but this year, this fall, we will have started school. Well, you would have started school like 9 years ago. But like literally, this fall it'll be 10 years of when I started college, which is actually disgusting.
That is disgusting. I'm sorry.
That's like it's a whole decade ago. Like I graduated. Oh my God, I graduated from high school over 10 years ago.
I forgot
That's
that
disgusting.
you're a little bit older. But no,
Wait, hold on.
or are you?
I'm 2 months older than you.
Yeah, but like how? But you're in a different grade. I meant. Like
Yes.
I forget that you're like older grade wise.
Yes.
Not older. I literally am right at the cutoff. Like I could have been in your grade, and I could have been in the grade I'm in, and my parents chose to put me in the younger grade.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, because they like, I guess, wanted to spend me at home or something.
Oh,
But,
that's cute, though.
But it's funny you say that because I literally just got like a Facebook memory from when my mom posted for my high school graduation, and it was like 9 years ago today, and I was like, ugh,
That's gross.
and I literally was like, I'm going to puke. But
Speaking of gross, in college, we, have roommates, but like not, I think it's a universal experience of going to college is having roommates, and love them or hate them, they're there.
90% of our listeners are like some of my roommates from college. So. Hey guys,
Hey,
this one's for you.
yeah. But love them or hate them, you can't financially live without them, But that's our topic for today, roommates, and diving into some of the interesting stories because I've had great roommates, but I've also had awful roommates, like actually terrible. Like I don't know why I made that decision. And we're gonna talk about them. I've had my first freshman year at my other school. I had a roommate that I didn't know prior, but it was like a great experience. And then I decided to transfer schools, and I was like, okay. So I did like a transfer program, and 2 of my 3 roommates were. 2 of them were transfers, and then the other one, it was weird. Like it didn't like click right away, but she had been there all. Like, it was her senior year, and she had been there all her other 3 years, but she was choosing to have 3 random roommates. And I'm, like, thinking, I was like, oh, who knows people's situations. But now that I think back, and I'm like, how awful she was, I'm like, yeah, that's why you didn't have any friends to room with. And I mean, and crazy enough, she wasn't the worst roommate that I had. But it was, like, but me and her, like, actually shared a bathroom, and it was nasty in there because maybe TMI, but I never put like tampons in a communal wash bag. She had no qualms with that. Yeah, she had no qualms with that. And the worst part about it, my trash can, she would like let it get like filled to the brim. And then we also had to provide our own toilet paper because it was like an apartment style dorm. And this is me being petty, but I would sometimes
Be petty, girl.
Yeah, I would sometimes like when I had changed the role at least like 2 to 3 times in a row, and she had not. I would just like bring my own roll of toilet paper in and take it out in the bathroom, take it out when I was done.
I miss this shit, honestly. Like, I just miss when, like, my biggest problem was, like, the petty stuff that happened in my apartment or dorm or whatever.
Yeah. And that was just, like, the tip of the iceberg. And then she was in a relationship with a girl, and the girl was kind of staying at the apartment alone. And, like,
Homosexual, perhaps?
No, definitely. That was definitely, oh my God. I've told you about homosexual, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a different story for another time. But like when I first told JJ, you know what it was before, right? A homosexual?
For a second I thought you said a homosexual, and I was like, huh? No. But no, homosexual.
Did you know about
No, I didn't know about homosexual.
Okay, well, it's a thing, and a man tried to entrap me into being a homosexual one time. Didn't let it happen, but that's
some boundaries.
But and it was crazy because she would just like stay there even when my roommate was not in class, and I'm like, these are like dorms, and I'm like, she was nicer than my roommate. roommate. Like I had better
Like, can y'all swap?
I had better interactions with her than my roommate. And I'm just like, dang. Like she was more courteous and nice and friendly. But I digress. But anyway, that's one of my roommate stories, and that is not the worst one. But we can get to the worst one later. But I mean, do you have any, interesting roommate stories?
I'll say like I have mostly had good roommates, and some of them have ended up being like really good friends of mine, and we're still friends. But there've been a few that I've been kind of neutral on. We've had sort of negative interactions, but overall it was fine, And then there was one that was just a demon. But we'll get to her later. I don't know. I guess I'll start from like the beginning. My first college roommate, pretty neutral on her. She was an only child, and frankly, it kind of showed. She wasn't awful, and I want to acknowledge that like I wasn't a perfect roommate either. But she had some just kind of odd habits that she had absolutely no room for negotiations over. The example I can think of is that she would sleep with an eye mask because she had absolutely no tolerance for any sort of light or noise or whatsoever, like when she decided it was time for her to rest and get her beauty rest. So you can imagine that this was difficult sometimes, as we essentially lived in like a 5x5 concrete block. So anyway, sometimes I would have to come home late from class or studying, and she'd already be asleep.
What time did she go to sleep?
I mean, this wasn't like super late or anything. Or maybe it was. I don't remember. But either way, I lived there too.
I was gonna say we were design majors.
Yeah. We stayed in
the studio.
And she was a design major too, so I mean,
that's weird.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes she would come home really late too, so it wasn't like just me doing this.
Right. It wasn't one-sided.
Yeah, exactly. So like and that's why we decided to room together, because we were both design majors and we knew we were gonna have crazy schedules.
Right.
But I remember one time I came home and I was genuinely trying to be as quiet as possible, and I started to get ready for bed, but I wasn't gonna turn on like the overhead light or anything because that would just be rude. But like I'm not like a nocturnal animal, so like I need some light in order to see. So like I turn on my little desk lamp, and she immediately like shoots up out of bed, and it's just like, hey, like you're like rustling around and you have your desk light on and you need to like be quiet and like turn the lights off. And I was like, girl, I need to like put my like pajamas on. Like I need to like see.
Does she want you to like just feel around in the dark?
Basically is kind of what she was getting at. And I mean, this girl had like a literal eye mask on to block out the light.
That's crazy.
So like I don't really know how else to help her. And it was like I turned on my desk light. Like I would understand her frustration if I had turned on the overhead light, because that would have been rude and considerate of me.
Right.
But like I need a little light to see, girl. Like I'm a cat.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that was the main incident that I can remember with her, because most of my memories from roommates are overridden by that one girl.
One girl. Was it the one that we were talking about earlier?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. I remember, and this is actually, it ended up to me meeting one of my good friends, and I had a great time living with her the rest of my college career. So not all bad, but there were two girls that I was actually friends with before we decided to room together. And, when we signed the lease and everything was fine. But then we had a long weekend, and I invited one of my close friends to come home with me. And this girl lived kind of far away, and she was hinting heavily that she like wanted to come home with us too and hang out with us because she had nowhere to go. And so I, of course, was like, okay, yeah, like you can totally come hang out with us. Like that'll be fun. It was not fun. She came to my house, and basically my mom is like very hospitable. Like she
Hostess with the
mostest. So whenever I have friends over, she will just go out of her way to make sure that
she was the fun mom.
Dote on them, all of this stuff. And I mean, as soon as they leave, like it's back to, This did not last, like, when other people were not there.
Oh, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so they came over, and this one girl was vegan, and so my mom was cooking all these vegan meals, buying all these ingredients, because we wanted to, like, cook a recipe, because she was really into cooking, doing all of this really, like, kind stuff for this girl.
Oh, that's so nice.
I know, but basically when we get back, this girl like decides that she like hates me all of a sudden, and I could not for the life of me figure out why.
Maybe she was jealous.
I think she was jealous of me and my mom's relationship or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna psychoanalyze her. But I don't know. She just started like talking about me behind my back to all my friends, trying to like put a wedge between us, telling everyone that I was like this like bitch whose mom like did everything for her, and I like wasn't capable of functioning without my mom, and like it was just bizarre.
Crazy.
It was crazy.
I've met people that have hard time functioning without their parents. Case in point, the guy that I went on a date on with.
Yeah. No, but like I'm not like that. So it was just bizarre. And all of my friends were also kind of perplexed. They were like, why is this girl like bad mouthing her for essentially no reason? But anyway, long story short, we had already signed the lease at this point, so we have to move in together.
Mm-hmm.
And things get worse. They get worse. After finding out that she is bad mouthing me so much behind my back, I kind of really withdrew from our friendship and kind of just limited my interactions with her. And she took this personally. So she just like doubles down and starts trying to like turn all my friends against me, all my roommates. It's just it was just a lot of stuff, and there was a lot of hostility between us, and this girl was just not nice. I remember one of our other roommates, like one time it was her birthday, and this girl is like trying to be really nice to her and gets up really early in the morning, like crack of dawn, and cooks her this whole breakfast. And it's like pancakes with nutmeg and like eggs and all this stuff. This girl gets up, literally like walks out of her room, and everyone goes, "Happy birthday." She stares at us, goes into the bathroom silently, closes the door, uses the bathroom, comes back out, and silently sits down and starts eating
Oh my God.
the breakfast. And
she said, was there a thank you in there?
No.
That's crazy.
I'm not even done.
Oh.
So she's eating the breakfast. And mind you, my roommates had gotten up really early because she had a really weird work schedule that she didn't have to have. She actually said she liked working that schedule. So this is on her. Mm-hmm. But they got up at the crack of dawn to get this girl breakfast for her birthday. She sits there eating silently, crabby look on her face. And she like starts like going like, and she goes, "I hate nutmeg." And so one of my friends just like gets up and just slams her door because that was our last straw with this girl. But there were just a lot of incidences like that. And going back to the fact that she had a really weird work schedule that was totally self-inflicted. Like she literally would brag about her work schedule to us. She'd be like, "Oh, I love my work schedule because I get up early and get all my work done. I work at a front desk." But she would get up at like 3 a.m. and go to bed at like 7 p.m. And she would expect everybody to be completely silent after she went to bed.
Like unrealistic.
Yeah. And she also like our apartment was really weird. There were only 2 rooms that had windows, and the other 2 rooms were like these dungeons. And me being really nice allowed them to take the window rooms, but the window rooms were by the pool, and they were also in the living room by the TV. Mm-hmm. So she used to send us these really awful, nasty texts in the evenings if we were watching TV. Because she would be like, "You guys are so inconsiderate. I'm trying to sleep. Like, you guys know I have a work schedule that like requires me to go to bed early." And I was like, "Why did you pick the room next to the TV, girl?" Like, you know?
That's crazy because, like, I mean, crazy for her, one, to say that, but two, like, I'm not that confrontational of a person to, like, just send, like, those nasty texts. I mean, if I ever sent, like, if I was brazen and bold and sent, like, a little spicy text, I definitely regretted it afterwards. Yeah.
So the text she sent, though, was like this like long novel, essentially, that was just really awful and nasty. And I was honestly really glad she finally sent that, because I showed some of my friends it, and they were like, "When you were telling me about this girl, I thought you were overreacting. But now that I'm reading this text, I realize that you're totally valid."
Do you still have those texts?
I wish I did.
I still have the text for the story about the worst roommate I've ever had.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, you'll have to read those.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can.
No, I wish I did, because this girl, it was a really mean text. Ooh. It was just an uncomfortable environment to live in. And one of our other roommates that year was, like, she was one of the ones I was kind of neutral on, because she wasn't, I don't want to say she was, like, a bad person. She was just, like, a little odd. She had this little... She had a very, like, childlike manner about her that I think she kind of thought was cutesy. And so she capitalized on it, and she would do things like, she had this obsession with wiener dogs.
I like dogs.
I know, but, like, this was, like, an obsession. Like, everything she owned had wiener dogs on it, and she would also walk around the apartment, and she had what she called her wiener dog song that she would sing when she was doing, like, chores or just chilling.
What?
Yeah, it was called her wiener dog song. She would go, wiener dog, so cute and small. And she would just sing that over and over again, walking around the apartment. And we were all just kind of like, okay. But yeah, she was kind of a hoarder, so she would have like tons of kitchen gadgets, like tons. Like every cabinet shelf was full of her kitchen gadgets, and a lot of her kitchen gadgets too were like these weird like Japanese like high tech ones that would like sing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's so interesting.
she had this bread maker that would let out this awful song every time it was done, and we would all be like, "Oh, this fucking bread maker."
I have a rice cooker like that, but it's just like a little.
Actually, it might have been a rice cooker.
Well, actually, it's not a song. It's just like dings, but it's like really high pitched, and I kind of find it annoying myself.
Yeah.
But it's like really loud.
Yeah. But it was more just the fact that like we didn't have any room for our stuff, and she had stuff like these like box of like margarita glasses. She didn't drink, so it was just stuff like that just kind of like, can we have this space on the shelf for our stuff, please?
Yeah.
And we weren't really like allowed to use her stuff. She would get mad at us if we used it incorrectly, so we were all scared to use her stuff. It was just a weird environment. But that being said, it led to me meeting a good friend. It was actually a random roommate.
Oh.
Yeah, she became a really good friend, and we lived together with a bunch of really cool girls our senior year. So not all bad, but just a bit of a hostile environment.
For a little bit.
Yeah, for a little bit of time.
That's crazy. I will say, I don't know why I didn't learn my lesson with the random roommates the first time around, but I was like, I think, I was like, but I'm older and stuff like that. And I was also trying not to, and this was like my first year of grad school. And I was like, just trying to not spend as much money. I found the text. They're from, it's from 2021 or 2022. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if I want to read it outright, but I can just like run down the situation. And again, I'm not a perfect person by any means. But I don't think I'm a difficult person as far as like a roommate. I mean, anyway, so the way that I found my roommate was because again, didn't really know anyone going into the grad program. I think, but there were like these forums. I will say it's essentially this Craigslist of that school where people like list furniture. I think my brother came up with that term. But like, Craigslist of that university because they could like again like do like posts and stuff. I set an account on that forum too, so not too bad.
A win's a win.
A win's a win. Yeah, found her on there, and I mean, there was like another girl that I like. We like did a video FaceTime chat with, and first impressions can be deceiving because she seemed nice. I mean, it seemed like she was like easygoing. She had a boyfriend who she had sorry. I don't know how much of the story to tell. There's just so much. So
I was gonna say I have stories not of my roommates because these roommates are actually wonderful people, but some of their flings did some really fucking funny things.
Okay, hold on. No, you have to wait before I go. Tell the story about the.
Okay, so I had one roommate, love her, and I know she listens to this, so love you. But she had one fling who was just like a funny dude. Like he was very cute, so I understand like why she was like interested in him. But he had a ferret named Felix. And Felix would make guest appearances at our apartment sometimes. So like he would bring Felix over and he would just be roaming.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I remember so one of our roommates that year had like a huge fear of rodents. And so whenever Felix was doing his thing, she would go in her room because she was just like, I really don't fuck this ferret, dude.
Yeah.
But we didn't realize so ferrets can fit under pretty much anything.
Yeah,
this ferret got everywhere.
Oh god.
He was in our dishwasher.
What?
He was going under doors. But anyway, he could fit under the crack doors, is long story short. So Felix
my god, did he?
Dude,
I know where this is going.
Felix was running around, and we're all just kind of like chilling in the living room, like, oh, Felix is
doing Felix. Felix is doing Felix.
But all of a sudden, we're like, where'd Felix go? Like, it got really quiet. Like, where'd he go? We hear this blood-curdling scream rip through the apartment, and we're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Felix has found our rodent-despising roommate. I don't know. It was just, it was just interesting. Like, I actually kind of liked Felix. Felix was kind of cute. But it was weird that he just was unleashed in our apartment and would like chew through our dishwasher and all this random stuff. Yeah.
No. That's Here's my thoughts about ferrets. It's like there was this other animal. It kind of looked like
diamond.
it kind of looked like, I don't know what it's called, but it kind of looks like an anorexic capybara. Should I say that? I don't know.
You know what? Okay, like I would not have thought that on my own, but you're actually so right.
No. I'm saying this other animal, but now I can see like a ferret looks kind of like
an anorexic capybara.
Yeah. So and it was like this animal that my friend showed me, and I was like, I mean, I wouldn't, if I saw it, I wouldn't like kick it, but I mean,
that's how we rate disgustingness. If I saw it, would I kick it?
I wouldn't like kick it, but I mean, I wouldn't want it as like a pet or near me, you know. But like. I wouldn't kick it.
Okay, what animal is this?
Dang, I can't type that in because like I don't know. Oh wait, no, it's definitely in my.
Is it like a?
Dang, I gotta look
like a naked mole rat.
No, not even the slightest. It's literally. I don't think it was that long ago. It's probably somewhere. Right. Oh, here it is. What is this called? I don't know. What is it?
Is that the anorexic capybara?
Yes. Oh, it's called what is it? A red rumped
agouti.
Yeah. So
not the red rumped agouti. I'm suddenly having like all of these memories flood in about all these random roommates I had, because I had some like summer subleases too. Mm-hmm. I had one girl who was a sorority girl, and I remember one time I was crying in my room because my boyfriend did something mean to me, and well, like whatever, but I just remember like she came in and was talking to me, and I thought that was like really sweet actually at first. Like she was like, "Hey, like I just want to make sure you're okay. Like I heard you crying."
Yeah.
But then she starts going into some of her lore.
What was some of the lore?
Okay, so like it wasn't disturbing, but it was like I just was kind of like I didn't know what to say to it. Like she started talking to me about one thing about this girl. She loved to talk, and she really always brought the conversation after herself. Mm-hmm. So it ended up not being sweet really fast. But
oh my god,
it was just kind of like ended up me like listening to her like talk about her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. But she was telling me all this stuff, like her boyfriend's breath stank, but she was like, she clearly did not like this man, like she was not attracted to this man. But then she said that like God wanted her to be with him. Okay. So like she had to be with him. Or something along those lines. But that's kind of the like gist of the conversation we had in that moment. And that's when I was kind of like, you're weird.
Hey, you know, I am, as long as it's not
no, it wasn't necessarily that she was religious. Her story was just that like she was like, let me tell you the story of like why God wants me to be with my boyfriend. And I was just like, you're going to tell me anyway, clearly, so please. But
okay.
She was like, I was walking down the street and I was having a really bad time, and I said like, God, I need a man, like send me a man. It was I'm kind of doing this like off the wall because I don't remember exactly what she said. Right. But she's like, and all of a sudden he comes around the corner, and like I just remember like everything going still, and like just a presence filled me, and I realized that like this was like the man for me or something. And okay, they broke up like 6 months later. Okay. But but it was just very like, I don't know, like I just didn't know what to say. Like she was talking about all this stuff she didn't like about him, but she's like, but he's great.
Right. Like,
but I mean,
I see that he's balding a little bit, but he's great.
No, like she's like, his breath really fucking stinks, but he's great.
He's got one tooth that's longer than the other, but he's great.
Literally, like stuff like that.
His second toes are longer, but he's great.
This man had his tonsils removed for her.
Oh my god! Well,
because she was like hated
sprinkle so much. But anyway, so back to dang, and I took her off all my social media. I mean, here we go. So we like met on this thing, essentially the Craigslist of our university, and we like she seems like pretty easygoing.
After a strong start, we met on
Craigslist. And then her boyfriend, they were like long distance relationship because actually. I don't care. He's from the Congo, and so he had to go back after he graduated. There was just like I'm like thinking to myself, there's like a lot of red flags, because I know that she wanted to do like fiance visa with him, like the 90-day fiance visa process. So it's a process of getting that done. So it was going to take some time, and I believe at that point when we first met, they had only been dating for like 4 months, and maybe like 6 months by the time we were like one was living with her. And I was like, that is kind of a red flag. She had some attachment like issues and stuff like that. And I'm like, so like for grad school, like we like both went to grad schools in the same state that we like previously lived in and went to undergrad in. So I knew a good amount of people, and I don't think she knew a lot of people there. So I was like taking that into consideration. So I would like hang out with like different people at different times. Not like I'm not popular, but I'm just like
You're kind of popular.
not really. No.
A little
Not
bit.
not even. Not
Well, you have like 400 texts at any given time, but you know.
No, I think that's something different. I think that is a different issue. That's an issue. That's a different issue in itself.
It's a separate problem.
A separate problem.
We'll unpack that next episode.
Yeah. Pack that with a licensed professional. Or my friends, whichever one, because it's cheaper. I'm kidding. But yeah, so I mean, we were just spending time together and it was fine. But then she had like these, and I don't want to make like judgments, but she had like these weird expectations of her partner, and they were like, there was like an 8-hour time difference, and she was a person that needed like constant, consistent validation and communication with someone in an 8-hour time difference, and like in
So she was like crash out when he was sleeping?
sometimes. And long story short, obviously we start living together in August at the start of the school year, and I want to say like by October they were like broken up, and then there were like a lot of stuff that happened in between. And I'm like, I gotta like set some boundaries with this girl, because she's like, at that time I was single, and I was like, she's stressing me out. Like, I am actively not being in a relationship right now. And it's crazy because I didn't realize how much she centered herself around a man's validation. And she, you know what, you do whatever you want with your body. But I will just say, she let that freak flag fly for that period of time. And then there was this like one guy he was in med school.
It's always the ones in med school.
I know, like I have not heard, like I haven't met anyone with good experiences with guys in med school, myself included.
I mean, you gotta be crazy to get through med school.
But what was I saying? And she was like, oh my God, he's just like not being super responsive. And when she means responsive, she means like back and forth text every single, like all the time, all day, every day. And I get it. People want consistent communication, but you gotta also like read the room, because like he is in med school at the school that we are, which is a pretty prestigious program. But yeah. And so she had been dating him for like 2 weeks tops. And I'm like, girl, you've been talking to this man for 2 weeks.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah. Like thinking about possibilities of her future after grad. And this was our first year out of grad school. But at the same time, there was this other guy that she was talking to. And a long story short, she ended up starting to like date that guy.
Oh.
And because like he was just more consistent with his communication. And I think by this time it was like November. And at that point, they were like spending a lot of time together. And not even like back and forth at each of their apartments. He was just there at our townhouse. But he was just like spending so much time at our townhouse. And I like had to tell her like, hey, I understand that you really care about this guy, but I'm just gonna say like, I just want to set like boundaries. Like he can't be here more than 3 nights in a week. And I think that's fair, because he also has an apartment.
I was gonna say like she could spend some time over there.
They spent like she like how they constantly like spent like every waking moment together, and like the tip of the iceberg had to have been when she and him both got COVID, and she asked if both of them could quarantine at our townhouse. She's like, so we can like help take care of each other. Would it be okay if he quarantined here? And I said, full transparency,
I don't want COVID.
I don't. I mean, like, I'm not comfortable with that. Like, I prefer him to quarantine. She's like, oh, even if he doesn't like come out of the room. And I was like, correct.
Yeah. I think like looking back, I don't know. We were also young and like growing and learning just like how to be adults together. So there's definitely going to be clashes there. But looking back, I kind of wish I thought more critically about choosing roommates.
Right.
like, just because you're friends with someone doesn't mean you're going to be good roommates with each other.
Right.
You got to look at, like, your living habits, like, if you're, like, night owl versus early bird.
Yeah.
All of this stuff. Like, it's not like, we're just pals, so we'll work it out. So I wish I thought a little more critically with some of the roommate choices, I think.
But no, I agree. Because, like, I mean, and I'm definitely better at establishing boundaries. And definitely during that time, I was not, because that was, like, almost 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, and it's like still developing and still getting better. But yeah, no, and they like, I mean, it was definitely not the same after that. And then it was so funny. Oh, and then so I want to say end of November is when I think they started to date and whatnot. And then I remember this. February 1st, she told me, I think me and him are gonna like live together next year.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's 2 months. 2 months, and they decided to live together. I'm like, that is insane. Oh yeah, my second year of grad school, I decided to live on my own because I don't need to try and deal with another roommate. And so I lived on my own, and I've been living on my own ever since.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's reasonable.
Yeah, so it was just an interesting situation. Like, who knows? Maybe, like, let me know. Am I crazy in that one? Was I the crazy person in that one?
No, I don't.
But
I mean, I understand like wanting personal space.
I would say that he had no, unlike he had his own apartment.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like I hesitate just because like I know that I probably had my college boyfriend over a lot too.
No, but like, was he sleeping there?
Yes.
Like all like more than 3 nights a week?
All the time. I mean, honestly, I kind of don't remember.
No, I just mean no. I mean, because like my friends had like boyfriends that would stay over, but they would go back and forth. Like, had I not said anything, they would have been there like all the time.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, we would switch.
Yeah,
between his place and my place. Yeah, it's a bit codependent.
It was incredibly codependent, because I'm like, I think they literally were codependent. They would spend 24/7 together. One time my brother was staying with me for like the weekend. He was like, your roommate's kind of weird. And I was like,
it's so validating when someone else points out.
but he's also very judgmental. So I was like I took it with a grain of salt, and he was like, she constantly needs to be talking to someone. Like I just saw her like FaceTime to FaceTime. When someone didn't answer, she went to the next person, until someone answered.
I feel like also like sometimes you just gotta like live it and understand like the vibes of the apartment and fully understand as a hostility.
I was like, I didn't sign up to have a third roommate.
Right. That's
So,
fair.
but I mean, it's all about like the process of living and learning. I mean, these are experiences that I had, and I've learned lessons from them, and I like to say I'm a better person for it. I
agree. I will say I wish I had lived with my my senior year cohort more years, because that was genuinely a very fun time.
Well, that's nice. Yeah.
But you know what? We got there.
Yeah, that's good. You're still friends with them.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Nice. What did you do with senior year?
Oh my gosh, I think there were 4 of us in the apartment.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I senior year was great. Junior year and senior year were great. Had some fun adventures. It was some wild times. But those are stories for, another day. But thanks for
listening, guys.
Yeah, our rambling.
Yeah. Thanks for coming to our vent sesh.
I mean, was this truly an episode? Was this beneficial to anyone? It was beneficial to me.
It was. I feel better. I feel lighter.
But so thank you for being our therapist. Actually, maybe I won't have to pay for a session. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.